Welcome to the News Belt on the AM show. Now, in our first story, members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum have threatened to resume picketing the Finance Ministry if government goes ahead to include them in the new domestic debt exchange program. The Finance Ministry has, in a statement, announced its intention of restructuring another 12.9 billion cedis as it calls on all bondholders who have not participated in the initial program to tender their bonds by September the 22nd, 2023. This includes investors whom government has described as eligible holders of over 59 years. But at a press conference on Monday, members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum warned they would picket the Finance Ministry again if government roped them into the program. My colleague James Aveji has more in this report.
Between February and June 2023, members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum picketed the Finance Ministry demanding a total exemption from the government domestic debt exchange program. After a back and forth between the two parties, an agreement was reached. That agreement granted a total exemption from the domestic debt exchange program to the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. But in a statement dated 13 September 2023, the bondholders say government is attempting to rope them into another debt exchange program. They have been classified under Category B of that statement. They are expected to submit their bonds to the Finance Ministry for a new term. But at the press conference on Monday morning, members of the pensioner bondholders say they cannot be included in the new domestic debt exchange program. Dr. Edwana Nientri is convener of the group.
We believe that the inclusion of Category B holders, that is pensioners, in the invitation is irregular for the following reasons. Category B holders, that is the pensioners, who did not tender their bonds were on the 16th February 2023 exempted from the DDEP. Effectively, natural persons 59 years old and above, as of 1st January 2023, who did not tender their bonds and were subsequently exempted from the DDEP, are not part of persons who could not participate in the DDEP. Our response to these statements is that natural persons 59 years old or older as of 1st January are not part of holders of eligible bonds who did not participate in the February 2023 exchange on time. They were exempted from the DDEP. We have advised that the government should not create a situation that will result in pensioners not receiving their coupons and principals on due dates.
According to Dr. Edwana Nientri, they have sent a reminder letter to the Ministry of Finance and government reminding them of the exemption they have granted to the pensioner bondholders. He says if they do not hear anything from government in the coming days or are not exempted, they will have no option than to resume their picketing.
We have already informed the whole world that anytime our coupon or principal is in arrears, the only thing we will do is to picket the ministry, as we have done. We will do that if the ministry delays in paying our coupons and principals when the principal is due to be paid. So that is what we are going to do.
Meanwhile, the pensioner bondholders are hopeful that government will honor its words in the letter of exemption granted the pensioner bondholders. Reporting for JoyNews from the Clocksack Auditorium here in Accra, my name is James Aveji.
Now, in respect of the chilling account of how a house help murdered his madam in cold blood at Sokoman Apaso in Kumasi, some details have emerged. The details contained in court documents revealed the accused, actually John Alistair, got hired a day after applying for the position of house help from an Accra-based employment agency and allegedly committed the murder 6 days after resuming work. The Asokore Mampong District Court was told how the key suspect applied to become a house help and got posted the following day to his new employer. He ended up murdering. My colleague Ohiming Teria was in court and came through with this report.
Alesta applied for work on September 4, 2023 and resumed work the following day, assigned to the woman he allegedly murdered in Kumasi. On September 11, 2023, at about 11 a.m., moments after the deceased had prepared fufu she enjoyed with the accused, she was stabbed in the stomach, hit several times on the head and face with a club. The accused is said to have taken advantage of the absence of the 11-year-old daughter of his madam, who had gone to school. According to police, Alesta, after committing the act, invited the second and third accused persons, that is James Anoche and Juan Collins, to the home of the deceased and bolted with a Kia Sportage vehicle with registration GS 307-21, Samsung mobile phone, rice, cooking oil and other valuable items. They then escaped to Accra, made contact with Biggie, a fourth accomplice who is at large, to sell the vehicle to Christian Obu, the fifth accomplice who is also at large. Alesta, after the sale of his madam's Kia Sportage vehicle, used some of the proceeds to buy a Toyota Vitz car with registration number GS 3107-23. Whilst the second, third and fourth accomplices were being pursued, the fifth accused person abandoned the Kia Sportage vehicle at Oyibi police station and bolted. Following a report to the police, the crime scene management team discovered the body of the late Stella Osei, also known as Princess Efia Ahinkai, in the garage of her Apaso home. A blood-stained club, believed to have been used by the accused person to murder the woman, was also discovered at the crime scene on Tuesday, 12 September 2023. A police intelligence-led operation led to the arrest of the first and second accused persons in their hideouts in Accra on September 14, 2023. The two were then escorted to face trial in Kumasi. Prosecution, led by ASP Stephen Ofori, prayed the court to grant a request to release the Kia Sportage to the husband of the deceased, whilst a Toyota Vitz vehicle acquired with proceeds from the crime is also impounded by police. Despite the plea of the accused persons not being taken, the key suspect broke bounds, raised his hand and signaled the court he had something to say. He told the court he has accepted responsibility and pleaded with the court to be lenient with him before the Asokwe Mampon District Court. But prosecution, led by ASP Stephen Ofori, says due process would be followed in the trial.
This is a case of murder, and the due process has to be followed. Even though he has told the court that he admits whatever happened, but the due process must follow. So when docket is completed, it will forward to AG for his advice before the processes will start.
That's the saddest part.
A father-in-law to the deceased, Yao Yabua, who witnessed proceedings in court, says he was saddened to hear 5 persons were involved in the murder. According to him, the husband of the deceased, who is based in the United Kingdom, has been crying all day over the callous murder of his wife.
You arrived tonight from London, but you've been crying all along.
From Asokwe Mampon for JoyNews, Ohiming Teria reporting.
Now, a number of commuters for the second day running are stranded at the Wa-Saula-Bole Highway following torrential rains in the area that broke the banks of the Dole River. The only option for the stranded commuters are 2 canoes that can ferry them from one end to the other for 10 Ghana cedis as a fare, excluding luggage charges. Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam, who traveled to the area, reports that there is spontaneous increase in transport fares as passengers who wish to travel along the route need to do a detour of an extra 200 kilometers to reach their destinations.
The 12-hour Sunday rain came in torrents. Its intensity has never been seen in the enclave for decades. The effect is catastrophic and of monumental proportion. The Dolly River, that has not been desilted for over 2 decades, broke its banks as a result of the violent flash floods and cut the highway into 2 equal halves. Maze of commuters got stranded on both sides of the highway. The well-compacted gravel-sealed bitumen was completely washed off, leaving only the skeleton of the concrete bridge. There was no human casualties, but farms closer to the waterways were destroyed. Passengers wishing to continue their journey only have one option: 2 canoes to ferry them from one end to the other at 10 Ghana cedis, excluding late charges.
I'm carrying my load. What I'm going to do is business to eat with my mother and my brothers. So it's very difficult to cross.
So where is the vehicle for you to pass with?
No vehicle. We are using just some small ship to cross to Bole.
A ship from where to where?
Bole.
Ship? Where is the ship?
There is no ship there.
Thank you very much. You can see.
However, if you are faint-hearted and have phobia for the water that is about the size of half a football field, you have to take a detour of about 200 kilometers from either Sola, Sudankin, and Tachiman or the Bayesa. Communication lines were also destroyed by the floods.
And so this is the fiber cable, and they are also trying to retrieve the cable to enable them to restore the lines of these communication services here. So you can see that one of them is from Borofo. Master, tell me, what's your name?
I'm Emmanuel Baberi.
Okay, what are you doing now?
We are trying to restore the link. This link has affected so many sites. So yesterday we were here, but we couldn't restore it due to the water content. It's today that we came back and we have access to the cable, and we are now trying to lay the cable across so that we do temporary work and later on we come and do the normal work.
Savannah Regional Minister Said Jibril Mwazu, accompanied by his opposite number from the Upper West region, Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali, visited the affected area to get first-hand information with a view to fixing it.
Somewhere in 1993, and since then we've been doing spot improvements on the road, but the major works have not been done. But so far we've seen that the level of destruction is something that we have to take seriously, and also to make sure that we get the road more travel very, very soon.
Ourselves, but even before coming here, we had made contacts with the road minister, the chief director, the chief executive of the Ghana Highway Authority to ensure that we get a speedy remedy to what has happened. The Upper West region is severely hit.
The incident has however resulted in spontaneous increment of transport fares, specifically persons traveling to Kumasi or Accra. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, has upped the transport fares from Wa to Kumasi by 40 Ghana cedis. Alaji Nuhu Mahama is the Senior Industrial Relations Officer of the Upper West branch of the GPRTU, and he defends the increment.
We have added 40 Ghana cedis to the 140, making it 180 Ghana cedis.
Don't you think that is too high a price?
In fact, we are very, very sympathetic with our our traveling public. Even though we were intending to increase it from 140 to 200, realizing the cost of the fuel and the distance. But we said we have to be very sympathetic with them, so we reduced it to 40 instead of 50.
For the VIP buses traveling to Accra, they have only done an increment of 20 Ghana cedis. Oli Rahman Salifu is the war manager of VIP.
The 20 cedi is not too high. If you look at it, the 20 cedi increment is not up to 20 gallons of fuel. And that place, looking at it, about a 90 mass averagely. That's averagely 90 mass is freely. So due to that, if you don't add anything, you can't be able to cover. And there can be a type S, or there can be a different distance in their car.
Passengers are however not happy with the increment in the transport fares.
Both. The long journey, 1, the increments, 2, and the time.
So once there's an increment, though the journey will be stressful, I think that's the thing that we are going to face will be stressful, because in as much as we would have been passing the other road, we might not be stressful, but this one, the road is a bit longer.
From the look of things, it appears the highways will not be fixed permanently in the next few days. What government needs to do, however, to assuage the pain and frustration of commuters is to create a diversion to enable them have easy access from one end of the highway to the other.
Several vehicles that are parked here, and also their mates or driver mates are looking for passengers. So you can see that they are calling passengers to come and join their vehicles for them to move into the Upper West region. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Joli, Savannah region.
Well, the road from Danyame to Edum in Kumasi is the latest breeding ground for criminal activity, with several instances of robbery and murder. And for months now, roads in the area have been without street lights. The few around are defective. Emmanuel Bright-Kweko reports that many motorists who ply the stretch during the day are finding alternatively safer but longer routes to their destinations at night.
Pitch darkness as one the Nyame Edum Road. For months now, the area has been plunged into darkness. Bushes along the darkened stretch are hideouts for criminals, especially for robbers who snatch people's valuables, including phones and bags. This driver recounts a near-theft experience which happened just before I interviewed him.
One robber tried whisking away the phone of one police officer who was in my car, but a passenger who sat in the back seat swiftly hit the hand of the robber and he left the phone.
The area is only illuminated by the bright daylight and the headlights of vehicles at night, numbering about 10. The street lights erected along the stretch have been intermittently dysfunctional for months now, with some of them falling apart. The bulbs of the street lights have been shattered. The stretch is occupied by hawkers during the day, but they must end their trade hurriedly when dusk beckons. The area has recorded at least 2 murder cases.
But three something no almost free more babas in aqua. Nti omo ba na ye fresh waje fo no no ma besi na akopem pam omo bombro omo nti omo ja yes omo pumi patu anatan wa.
They come here around 3 p.m. and hide in the bushes. They've killed 2 people here. They cut the victim's hands and he died.
Omo ba na jono so omo be wi na ja. Aso je fo no be so omo hu omo na omo be pi omo so na omo chi omo. So omo ko na ye be ba no para na ha no. O ja no o so omo tutwa na isa. And a police phone be jail. Until each of them go to hospital here say or film.
I come from Mobana be 8 o'clock 9 morning. Eti edura numre na omu ro gas no confirm na omu yi omu bag na nom da to wura ni. Ye ba the to and the na.
Sometimes the soldiers come here to sack us, thinking we are the thieves, but we aren't. We are only traders.
Omo meya sa de ne ba na do no mo ba ti sontana na so da fo no kwadu be bia na omo ba so betam ye se ye ne amanfo do report bre wo mo se ye wi amanfo e ba ge no mo fon ne adade ba te ye de ya to ne ma na wa che enya akronfo.
It's 9 p.m. and this driver decided to use the road from Kejetia to Bantima Roundabout, a relatively longer route to his destination in South Suntreso. He has vowed not to use the route at night, given his numerous encounters with the criminals.
There's no way I would use that route when it's 8 p.m.
I visited the scene at night.
So we are getting closer to the traffic station, and thankfully there have been some street lights on for today, but mostly we don't have the street lights on, and this is the hideout most of these robbers try and then go inside. So in the trees, you find them inside the trees. That's when the light is not available. And they camouflage or blend with this particular tree. So as we are in traffic now, they just come inside, and then you are using your phone, they just whisk it away.
The police officers only come around during the day and not at night. The issue has persisted for long. For a month now, they've been hiding in the bushes to steal from people. We wish the local authority would tax some police officers to patrol the area.
And it's on that note that we cap off the news this morning. But stay with us, because up next, I'm hosting Afil Money, former president of the Ghana Journalists Association. He joins me for the news review. We'll be right back.